If you fancy knocking up this utterly ridiculously delicious bowl of carby, buttery goodness, nobody can blame you. So you better keep watching and find out how to do it, because guys, it could not be easier. Hey friends, and welcome back for the third and final recipe I'm going to be sharing from my latest ebook, 25 one-pot meals. You can find out more about this in the link that I'm going to pop down in the description box below if you want to go and snag yourself a copy. And I highly recommend you do, because I am very proud of this. So today we are making gnocchi with asparagus and lemon. There's hardly any ingredients in this one, and the best bit is, if you're a campervaner or a camper like me, is that you can buy these bags of gnocchi, and these are shelf stable. So this is where the dried pasta is in the supermarket. I've opened it up because it was starting to sweat a little bit, and I thought, oh, I want my gnocchi to be crispy. I don't want them to be soggy. You can also buy fresh, so where the fresh pastas are in the supermarket, or you can make your own if you've got leftover mashed potato. They're so easy and really good fun to make. If you want me to make a video on that, then we can do that in the new year. Let me know down below and I will put that on the list to make a fresh gnocchi. But for now, we're going to use these. They're really cheap. I can't even remember how much this bag was. This is 500 grams. This is enough for 2 properly greedy people. I.e. me, maybe 3 if you can stretch it out a little bit with some sides. So, should we do it? Let's do it. Okay, so get your pan on over a medium heat today. When that's nice and hot, we're going to add butter. Now, when it comes to gnocchi, the traditional way of cooking it is to chuck it like normal pasta in a big pan of salted boiling water. I've tried this recipe both ways, with boiling water and with frying in it in butter. And I'm guessing, unsurprisingly, it tasted a bazillion times better being fried in butter. Now, this isn't good for your arteries. It's not good for your cholesterol. It's not good for you. Do I suggest this is a healthy, rounded, balanced meal? No, not at all. I mean, the asparagus is pretty damn good for you, but the rest of it, really not so much. So do bear that in mind. Please save this recipe for a treat, because I quite like you guys turning up and I don't want you all keeling over with coronaries. So, pan is on. Let's get a tablespoon. That's not a tablespoon. Hang on. That's more like it. Like a tablespoon of butter into that pan. You don't want this stonking hot. You don't want to be burning these little nuggets of carby deliciousness. We want to be frying them. It's going to take 5, 6, 7 minutes. I can't actually remember. I've made this recipe like 3 times in the last 3 weeks probably. Seriously, it was no hardship. It is so delicious. Once your butter is nice and hot, chuck in your gnocchi. Try and get them in one layer if you can. I can't, so what you're going to do. And then you're just going to kind of fry them. Alrighty, I reckon that's been about 5 minutes, although honestly it might have been like 2. I'm just getting really eager to eat this. So what you want to do then is just give them a little toss over, and you'll see that underneath has indeed gone nice and golden and delicious. And this just really makes the most incredible texture, because you've got that lovely crunchy crispy shell, and then you've got this stodgy carby doughy centre. It's just like, just try it once. Okay, now we're going to add in the asparagus. Now, I managed to find some really small, tender baby asparagus, or asparagus tips as they're known. This is going to be much nicer in this dish because we're only stir frying it, we're not steaming them. So do bear that in mind, and hopefully you can find little fine ones like this. If not, and your asparagus is much thicker than this, make sure you snap off any woody part at the end or chop it off. You might also want to cut it lengthways just to speed up the cooking time. The flavour will be exactly the same, it's just these are obviously much more tender. Now I've just chopped my little bunch of asparagus up into like little bite-sized pieces, and you can either chop or just simply snap them into bite-sized pieces too, like that. Now I'm just going to chuck that in with my gnocchi. And just stir that round, and that will start to cook down, and we'll know that's ready when it's nice and bright green and glossy looking. Now I prefer my asparagus when it's still got a little bit of bite. Obviously you can cook yours for longer if you like yours softer. Oh wow, that smells so good. I'm just about to grate my lemon and realise I haven't brought my lemon. I'll be right back. Just be glad I wasn't camping in the middle of a field and I could just literally run back down into my kitchen to grab the ingredient that I'd forgotten, because seriously, lemon gnocchi with no lemon, would just be gnocchi. Right, so we're going to grate this. Now, I don't normally carry this in my campervan. I do actually carry this one. I've never actually used it, and it just looks vicious. And I figured I'd save you from blood everywhere in the Myrtle kitchen by bringing my one from home. So I'm just going to grate the zest. If you can find organic and unwaxed lemons, then brilliant, because obviously they've not been sprayed with anything and they won't have that wax on that makes them all glossy. If you can't and you can only find a regular lemon, just scrub it under hot water if you can. I mean, the wax isn't going to kill you because it's an edible wax, but, you know, given a choice, I'm guessing that nobody really wants to be eating lemon wax. Now at this point, have a little taste of your asparagus, because your gnocchi will be cooked. Now that is hot. The outside is soft, but the centre has still got a little bit of bite to it, which is just how I like it. I personally don't like overcooked green vegetables, especially. So that for me is ideal. Like I said earlier, do feel free to keep cooking it though if you like yours to be much softer. So at this point, I'm just going to pop in the zest of that lemon. And then give that a good stir around. And at this point you would be dishing that up between 2, possibly 3 plates, depending on appetites and if you've got salad on the side or something like that. But if it's just this, and especially if it's cold weather or if you've been exerting any energy out camping and stuff, good comforting 2 portions. So mine is now done. So I've turned that heat off. Now I'm just going to cut a little bit of the lemon off, and I'm going to squeeze over the juice of about 1/3 or 1/4 of a lemon, depending on the size. Give that a little stir around, and then finally I'm just going to grate some Parmesan cheese over the top. And then, my lovelies, feel free to eat. And there we go. Certainly one of the messiest recipes I've done in a while, but oh my goodness me, it tastes so good. So, I'm going to talk you through what's happening in my mouth right now. You've got a crispy, lemony shell that gives way to a soft, fluffy dumpling. You've got the crunch and the greenness of the asparagus, and then that kind of salty richness from the Parmesan. I kid you not, guys, that is an absolute keeper. Right, lovelies, and that's it for today. That's it for this month. And next week, I'm really sorry, but we're going to start with Christmas recipes. Like, just don't judge a girl. I'm feeling festive. And also, I can't wait for 2020 to be over. So it's kind of the build up to 2021. As always, stay safe, keep smiling, and I will catch up with you in the next video. Take care.